The stock market bubble already burst. Do you think the same thing will happen to the real estate market? Wait. You're probably thinking, why is this ham wearing a Ferrari shirt? That's because I want to go to the Formula One race. So can somebody please come up with a vaccine to end this COVID-19? Up until this point, let me just confirm the date. Today's Wednesday, 22nd. The housing market in Canada hasn't shown signs to follow the same trajectory as the stock market. In February, the housing market in many parts of Canada was on fire, just like this red hot Ferrari shirt. Home sales that were recorded on the Canadian MLS systems were down by 14.3% in March 2020 compared to February 2020 once they implemented all the social distancing rules because of COVID-19. We had a strong beginning in March, I'd say till like mid-March, and then from mid-March, the end of March, that's when it was almost like a pause. I don't think I'll ever forget March 2020, and I think it'll be remembered for a really long time. Home sales in Canada and listings were increasingly heading into what was expected to be a busy spring for me. Instead, a virus made such an impact in the world globally. I've always been the type of person to save money for rainy days, but being a realtor and a real estate investor and seeing a strong market, watching people make a lot of money, I've actually wanted to invest a lot of my own money for that reason, not thinking something like this can happen. And what this taught me is that you never over leverage yourself. I'm lucky that I didn't get to that point, but I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I was tempted to. The number of newly listed homes declined by 12.5% in March compared to February, as with sales activity, declines were pretty much recorded all across the country. With sales to new listings each falling to similar magnitudes in March, the national sales to new listings edged back to 64% compared to 65.4% in February. While this is down slightly, the bigger picture that this measure of the market balance was remarkable because only a little has changed with all this going on. The number of months of inventory is another important measure of the balance between sales and the supply of listings. It represents how long it can take to liquidate the current inventories at the current rate of sales activity. There were 4.3 months of inventory on a national basis at the end of March 2020. While this is up from almost a 15-year low of 3.8 months recorded in February, it remains almost a full month below the long-term average of 5.2 months. The decline in the months of inventory measure was entirely the result of the outsized drop in sales activity. With measures of market balance, only a little bit has changed from recent history. Like so far April, it seems like everything's on pause. So it is gonna take a little bit more time to see where the housing market is going. When we look at Canada, there's a lot more stimulus and support. CMHC and some of the major banks are supporting homeowners that can't come up with their mortgage payments up to 6 months. I've actually made a video about this, talking about solutions. If you have any questions or you want to know how to defer some of your mortgage payments, I'll put the link right over here for you. So there's a lot of completely different things going on right now that we can't even predict and understand where things are gonna be in like 2 months from now. It's hard to say when and if we're gonna see a downward pressure in prices. Like real estate associations are telling people that they shouldn't sell their house if they don't have to. They're making it difficult for realtors to sell people's houses. So if you look back at 2017 when there was a market correction and the financial crisis, we did have more supply and there was less demand. So we don't have that issue right now. We got people taking off their listing off the market. So we don't have much supply, but I'm sure in the future, we will get to the point where we will have some more supply than we had, let's say about like 6 months ago or even a year ago. That's my prediction. I think we will have that gap in that window of supply, which will be a good opportunity for some investors to get into the market. But again, I'm not Nostradamus. I'm just going by numbers and historical data. I definitely think we're going to see a big dip in immigrants. I think last year, 2019, we had around 335,000 new immigrants come to Canada. I sell new pre-construction condos. That's what I focus on. So I sell to a lot of new immigrants, people that are new to the country. So a lot of these people that are coming that I personally deal with, you know, they have a lot of money. So they're bringing money from wherever part of the world that they're coming from to buy a property here in Toronto. And one of the reasons why properties have gone up so fast and so much is because they're buying them, right? So I think what's going to happen is it's all going to balance out. There's going to be some more supply with a little less demand, and that's going to help out the rental market. There's going to be more supply even in the rental market. So I think this will all just balance out. I really like what Canada's doing to attract certain immigrants. There's a new federal active immigration permanent resident program that has replaced the old Quebec passive investor program that's attracting a lot of entrepreneurs and investors that want to come to Canada. The startup program is very attractive. It doesn't entail a minimum investment by the immigrant, or it doesn't have a net worth requirement, and the immigrant can basically pick wherever they want to live in Canada. If you want to know more info about this, I'll leave the link in the description below. A really big problem that we're facing with right now is that realtors are having a hard time selling properties because basically the real estate associations want us to try to sell it virtually by live videos, and people don't buy real estate this way. Maybe a small percentage of people do, but it's a big investment. You know, we can't just switch on a dime and start selling properties virtually. Like, it's not gonna happen. Maybe in the next 5-10 years, right? But we've never done that, and we can't just right away just start selling listings and properties by a live video on Instagram or something, or a FaceTime call. It doesn't work that way. You know, people are not buying a pair of shoes. You can go on a website, Amazon or Nike, and buy a pair of shoes. You're buying real estate. Now, if prices were really low and you know you're getting a really good deal, that's a different story. Buying online for an investor is a little bit easier, but somebody that wants to live in a property, they want to touch and feel the property. And I've sold majority of my deals that I've done in person. I sell pre-construction, I sell new condos. Normally my clients want to meet me at the presentation center, even though I'm selling an agreement, right? I'm selling they're going by paper, they're going by the floor plan, right? But still, they want to meet me in person. They want to see, okay, what kind of cabinets are they getting? You know, some people, they just want that face-to-face interaction because, again, they're spending a lot of money. They're not buying a pair of shoes. All right, so from all this happening, I really think everything is on hold. It's hard for the realtor to sell the property. It's hard for a seller to list their property. It's hard for a buyer to buy a property because some of the banks are making it more difficult for people to get approved for mortgages. So in my opinion, will the real estate bubble burst? It really depends how fast this is all gonna go away. If there's a vaccine in 2 weeks, you know, in 2 weeks, it's like nothing will ever happen, especially in Canada. But if it lasts a really long time, I think that there is going to be a correction. Prices will drop. There will be that window of opportunity to buy if you're an investor. But yeah, like there can be a really good chance, and it really depends on how long this is all gonna last. And hopefully, you know, people can start going to work and live their normal lives really soon, so the bubble does not burst. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys have any questions, please leave your comments in the comment section below. Adios. Hey guys, it's Corrado. If you want to watch more videos, just click over here. If you want to subscribe, which that would make me really happy, just click over here. Have you subscribed? subscribed yet?